Now, the next work we're going to study together is a bit more structurally complex, but it follows the same approach. It's the Cathedral of Brazil, also known as the Brasília Cathedral. It's the work of the famous architect Oscar Niemeyer and was built in the 1970s. Let's take a look at some of its photos together. You can see that its structural elements have a kind of hyperboloid shape. These are concrete pieces. Alright. 16 concrete segments are arranged around an axis to form this structure. And the shell in the middle is made of glass, as you can see. Its cross-section, as you can see, is triangular in shape. I want to teach you the analysis, to show you how we actually start modeling an object. Well, it's obvious. All these columns are repetitive, so if we make one of them, we can rotate it around the central axis. This is also a concrete structure. We want to create a shape like this. And you can see here as well, at a certain height, there's a round concrete slab that actually serves as the roof of this structure. Let's look at it from above. Around this center are columns. These concrete structural elements have been rotated, and as we said, their shape is hyperbolic. Now, there are two things we can do for modeling. One way is to find another photo of it from the front. But you know, because of its shape, it's hard to find a photo where the curve of one of these elements is exactly facing the camera. For example, this one here under my hand isn't bad, but it still doesn't show the arch very well. You can see that they're overlapping with each other. That's why, even with this one, we kind of have to estimate here using its actual dimensions and measurements. Now, let's start drawing this. And we'll try to draw its structure together. Let's go into the AutoCAD environment. First, in this elevation view, the diameter of the bottom circle is 60 meters. Well, as usual, it has this issue. At the start, we set it to shades of gray. The diameter of the bottom circle of this tower section, this structure section, is 60 meters, so we enter the number 30 like this, and then in the front view, we need to draw some guidelines so that we can. Now, for example, from the side of this shape, we can actually draw the hyperboloid element of our shape, so that when we draw the elevations, the center of this 8 is also clear. First, I'll go to another layer so I can draw these guidelines in a different color. First, we draw a line with any height as a guideline. The structure itself is 40 meters tall. Okay. Now again, from the front view, we draw another line down here. Then enter. I want to place its center exactly here. Now I'll offset this by 26 meters upwards from the center. Its height is 40 meters. Actually, if you want, we can draw its exact height from the center. 40 meters. Let's go back to the front view. These are the dimensions and measurements that are pretty much accurate. I actually searched and found these numbers. An offset of 26 meters from this point upwards. And then, at the end of this, we draw a line as well. Alright, we want to look at it from the front, and then an offset of 21 meters from this point inward. Well, that didn't work. So let's move it, since we're in a 3D space now. It's a bit tricky. It seems like the 21 meters is the distance from the perimeter of this circle, right? And then, the highest point of this tower actually has a radius of 15 meters. Meaning, my line should start from here and go all the way to this point. Alright, now let's start drawing it. If we had a good reference image, we could draw it more accurately. But here, we have to manage with our own spline. It starts from here. I'm turning off F8 as well. I'll put a point in the middle so I can control it better. A point here. And another point here. I'll put a point at the end too, and then press enter. Alright, now we can see that it didn't turn out well. We need to fix it a bit here. Adjust the curve down here to make it better. Like this. Now it's not too bad. As I said, just learn how to make the curve, and then you can play around with it a bit. You can get its shape to the ideal form. Alright, now I need to erase the guidelines. MA, enter, and with match properties, this front part is the main structure now, not a guide anymore. Let me go ahead and draw this. I don't need this axis for now either. Okay, it has a curved line like this. Now, just like what we did in the Avicenna Mausoleum project, we need to use loft to follow this section along our path and rotate it. We said its section is triangular, just like you saw in the images, and the top and bottom are almost the same size as the section, and it's also quite small. When it gets to the middle, the section becomes larger. Now again, I've calculated its approximate dimensions and sizes, and I'll apply them here. So I'll come here and draw a triangle from down here with, say, a radius of 12 centimeters, and first I'll use match properties from this to that. Then I'll just switch to layer 0, which is for the main drawings. The point is, I need to rotate this section so that it's perpendicular. Right from the center, it should be perpendicular to my path. See, for example, if it's like this here, it's almost perpendicular to the path. This is my path, after all. Now I'll select this and use CO copy from its center. I come up, you see, I place it here, okay. Now I need to place a large section right in the middle, exactly here on this point. So I'll say, let's make a triangle, roughly around here. And 1.7 meters, enter. Now, we just need to see which direction I should rotate this element from its center so that it's perpendicular to the path. Okay? It's that simple. Now, what we need to do is select loft. The bottom triangle, then the middle triangle in order. And the top triangle. You see, it drew this shape. Enter. Just cross section only, and that's it. How easily and beautifully my object was created. Now I'm saying, you can make the bottom section bigger. You can make the middle section smaller or bigger. That's just a matter of size and dimensions. That's how it works. But as we said, we have these 16 concrete columns in this style, which are around an axis as a wall. Select the object, polar array, then enter. You see, if you can't find the center of the circle, Move your mouse over the circumference. The center will show up again. How many did we say there are? 16. We press enter. We don't need this lower close array anymore, as you can see. Just leave it for now. I'll tell you why we were able to draw our main structure so beautifully. Now, the height of this structure is 40 meters. I said it has a roof at around a distance of 30 to 35 meters. Now, for the cylindrical roof, I'll select the cylinder. I drew this circle just so I could have its center. Now, for example, let's give it some dimensions. I don't know exactly what its dimensions should be, but let's say its height is 1 meter. So, a 1 meter thick concrete slab. I'll use enter to move it upwards. F8 needs to be on so it moves straight up. Alright, now for example, at a height of 30 or 32 meters, I have an object like this, which is my ceiling. I'll select it and manually extend it to the point where it doesn't interfere with this structure. Something like this, for example. Let's see if it's correct. Yes, there's no problem. Now I can delete this bottom line and go ahead and draw a box as the ground for this project for now. Downwards. And this is the Brasília Cathedral project. As you can see, we were able to easily draw this beautiful architectural work just by using the loft and polar array commands and a few other simple objects. Let's take a look at it from other angles. I'll move it up a bit so it doesn't overlap with the grid lines. Like this. Like this. Now let's check out its sketch mode. And the realistic mode. Again, I'll upload the practice file for you so you'll have both the images and the 3D file itself. But definitely practice using the method I taught you, and try doing this project yourself at least once so you really get the hang of it. Practicing this is really important. Excellent. I hope you enjoyed this session as well. Until the next tutorial, goodbye.